And welcome to Standard Voice Television Global News today, 14th April 2026, equivalent to Islamic calendar 26th day of Shawwal 1447 after Hijrah. I am Hamida Muhammad Idris. In headlines, Presidency moves against terrorists after press military fatalities in Borno. Federal government commences payment of President Dr. salary arrears. Boko Haram insurgent kill military officers and soldiers again in Northeast ambush. On the international scene, report says Iran plans suspending nuclear activity for up to 5 years. And on sports update, United coach Carrick knocks referee Paul for sending up Martins against Leeds. These and more news will be coming to you in the bulletin. I am Hamida Muhammad Idris. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu held a closed-door meeting with the Chief of Defense Staff General Olufemi Oluede and a French general in Abuja after an emergency security meeting with the service chiefs and intelligence heads. Sources close to the president, who pleaded anonymity, described Monday's engagement as part of intensified collaboration on Nigeria's security situation. The meeting is coming after a colonel and 6 soldiers were killed on Sunday by an improvised explosive device IED planted by insurgents in Boko Haram. The meeting is coming after a colonel and 6 soldiers were killed on Sunday by an improvised explosive device IED planted by insurgents in Borno State, marking another deadly strike against military personnel in the Northeast Theater of Operations. The meeting follows a disclosure by Tinubu on Sunday, March 22, 2026, that Nigeria had secured French collaboration and military equipment and support after a lengthy discussion with French President Emmanuel Macron. The government has commenced payment of long-awaited arrears arising from the consolidated medical salary structure. Review for the Nigerian Association of President Dr. Snad, Publicity and Social Secretary of the Association, Abdul Majid Ibrahim, who confirmed this in a letter to all members, added that the arrears covering between 1 and 6 months for some members were already being disbursed. He also reassured members yet to be credited that payment will be completed in due course, urging patience, noting that the August component of the arrears was in countering minor administrative challenges which will delay payment by up to 2 weeks. According to the industry estimates, Nigeria has lost thousands of doctors to migration in recent years, worsening doctor to patient ratios and strengthening an already fragile health system. Stakeholders of the African Democratic Congress ADC in the House of Representatives have called for the immediately remove and prosecute the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission INEC, Josh Amopitan, over allegations of partisanship ahead of the 2027 general elections. Leader of the caucus read the resolution following a meeting of the group in Abuja, noting that the recent actions and alleged statement attributed to Amopitan had cast doubt on his ability to serve as neutral umpire. The statement also said it has been alleged that Amopitan previously made a partisan statement on his ex-personal account wherein that he expressed support for the ruling All Progressives Congress. Although INEC has denied that Amopitan is the owner of the ex-account in question, digital forensic analysis and other online investigations by various sources suggest that the account is indeed his and the phone number used to create is registered in his name. Kaduna State Road Agency Kadra has deepened efforts to meet the April 30th completion deadline for the White Road project in Jaba local government area of the state. Kadra's Managing Director Abdullahi Baba Ahmed gave the assurance in a statement in Abuja, saying work was being accelerated to deliver the project within the timeline set by the state government. Baba Ahmed also explained that the project, which is being executed under the administration of Governor Obasani, is on track for completion before the end of April, in line with the timeline given to the contractor PW Nigeria Limited. The project, awarded to the company is part of the infrastructure drive of Governor Obasani, who had during the groundbreaking ceremony on September 11, 2025, charged the contractor to ensure quality delivery within the schedule. Judicial officers have been warned against misconduct and indiscreet use of social media as ethical lapses could erode public confidence in the judiciary. The Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Kudirat Kekereekun, issued the warning at the opening ceremony of the 2026 National Workshop on Judicial Ethics for Judges of the Superior Courts of Record held at the National Judicial Institute in Abuja. She also emphasized that the legitimacy of the judiciary resides not only on the correctness of its decisions but also on the perception of integrity by the public. The Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission (ICPC) rearranged former Kaduna State Governor Malam Nasir El-Rufai before the Kaduna State High Court on a 9-count charge bordering on alleged advance of free, fraud and money laundering. The arraignment followed the amendment of the original charge by the Commission's prosecution counsel Olusho Ben Ekoy, who separated the joint charge earlier filed against El-Rufai and his co-defendant Amadou Sule. The amendment became necessary due to the continued absence of the second defendant, Amadou Sule, who was reported to be unavailable in court on an account of a medical condition. Meanwhile, upon the reading of the charges, El-Rufai pleaded not guilty to all 9 charges. The news is coming to you on Standard Voice Television. Still to come in the news. Boko Haram insurgent kill military officer and soldiers again in northeast ambush. On the international scene, reports says Iran plans suspending nuclear activity for up to 5 years. And on sports updates, United coach carried North to the free poll for sending off Martins against Leeds. These and more news will be coming to you after this break. Do stand by. Welcome back from that short break, and now the news continues. Commanding officer of the 242 Battalion, Mongunu, Colonel I.A. Muhammad, and 6 older soldiers lost their lives when an improvised explosive device IED planted by insurgent went off in the Mongunu local government area of Borno State. Local sources said Colonel Muhammad was killed while on a reinforcement mission following an attack on a military formation by terrorists on Sunday night. Media Information Officer of the Joint Task Force Northeast Operation Hadunkai, Lieutenant Colonel Sani Oba, confirmed the attack, saying the incident occurred in the late hours of April 12 when the troops of Sector 3 of the OPHK came under an isolated Tango terrorist attack on Charlie 13 location in Mongunu. Nigeria's challenges, particularly insecurity and unemployment, can be effectively addressed through the deployment of technology, strong policy frameworks, and reliable infrastructure. The former Minister of Communications and Digital Economy, Isa Ali Pantami, made the assertion in Gombe State during the launch of a compendium documenting 241 legacy projects and over 700 employment opportunities recorded during his tenure as Director General of the National Information Technology Development Agency, NIDA. He also argued that Nigeria has entered an era driven by digital innovation and artificial intelligence, stressing that technology remains central to solving socio-economic challenges in Nigeria. The former minister emphasized that the world is now in the era of the fourth industrial revolution, driven largely by digital technology and artificial intelligence. Pantami also highlighted the establishment of digital centers equipped with internet access, modern software, and cybersecurity systems to empower youths and support security agencies. Former Anambra State Governor Peter Obi is optimistic of getting support from northern Nigeria ahead of the 2027 general elections, saying no other candidates can match his plans for the region. Obi made the assertion during an appearance on one of the national television programs, noting that he intends to transform the north as Nigeria's greatest asset. The former presidential candidate of the Labour Party also emphasized the importance of strengthening democratic institutions, calling on the government to support opposition parties. On 2026 Hajj, the state government is set to commence the airlift of intending pilgrims for the 2026 Hajj from the Gusau International Airport. The executive chairman of the State Hajj Commission, Musa Mallaha, made this known during a radio program in Gusau. However, said the reduction in Nigeria's Hajj quota by Saudi authorities will affect over 450 intending pilgrims from the state. He also explained that measures had been put in place to improve the welfare of pilgrims, adding that committee had been constituted to sensitize the pilgrims on proper Hajj rights. The committee, chaired by Sheikh Ahmad Ibn Umar Kanuma, will conduct orientation across the 14 local government areas ahead of the exercise scheduled to begin on April 14, 2026. Also speaking, Islamic scholar Sheikh Saidu Aliyu Maikwano urged affected pilgrims to accept the developments in good faith. Moving to the foreign scene, New York Times says Iran has proposed suspending uranium treatment for up to 5 years, an offer rejected by the U.S., which insisted on 20 years. Reports which cited senior Iranian and U.S. officials added that both the countries traded a proposal for suspending Tehran's nuclear activity during talks in Pakistan, but remained far apart from agreement. But discussions suggest that there may still be a path to a peace deal with a possible second round of face-to-face talks. Iran's nuclear ambitions have been a major striking point of the conflict, with Donald Trump reiterating on Sunday the U.S. will ensure that Iran will not have a nuclear weapon. Finally, to sport on scene, Manchester United head coach Michael Carrick knocked referee Paul Tenney for sending off Lisandro Martins in Monday's 2-1 defeat against Leeds. Martins, who was dismissed in the second half at Old Trafford after United defender pulled the hair of Leeds striker Dominic Calvert-Lewin. United remain in third place in the Premier League, 7 points ahead of 6th place Chelsea in the race of qualifying for the Championships League by top 5 finish. Finally, on the news, the top stories again. Presidency moves against terrorists after press military fatalities in Borno. Peru government commences payment of President Dr. salary arrears. Boko Haram insurgent kill military officers and soldiers again in Northeast ambush. On the international scene, report says Iran plans suspending nuclear activity for up to 5 years. And on sports update, United coach Carrick knocks referee Paul for sending up Martins against Leeds. That was Standard Voice Television Global News. On behalf of the production crew led by Ilya Adamauta, I am Hamida Muhammad Idris. Thanking you for investing your time and staying with the news. Good afternoon.